Hi, it's Paul Meredith, mortgage broker with the Paul Meredith team at CitiCan Financial and author of the Amazon #1 best-selling book, Beat the Bank: How to Win the Mortgage Game in Canada. Today we're going to be talking about how long it takes to actually get a mortgage approved and closed. When is it too late to start the mortgage application process? So it's really important that you know these time frames to ensure that everything runs smoothly and that you're not scrambling at the last minute, which could end up costing you more money down the road, or it could result with you missing the closing date altogether. So really important that you allow enough time and that you're aware of these lead times. Purchasing a home is a very exciting time, but it can get really stressful if you don't allow enough time before your closing date to finalize your mortgage. So how long it takes can really vary depending on the type of transaction. Now, if you're purchasing, for example, there's lots of parties involved. It's your mortgage professional or your mortgage broker. There's the lender. There's the insurer who is often involved, even if you are not. Even if you're putting 20% or greater down, insurers often involved in the back end. You've got your lawyer, you've got a title insurance company is often involved. Sometimes the realtor's involved for setting up the appraisal if one is required. So many different parties involved here, and everybody has their own process and everything can take time. So we want to make sure we're allowing sufficient time to get this closed on time with as little stress to you as possible. Now, if you're purchasing a new home, I usually recommend setting the closing date about 30 days in advance, or maybe even a little bit greater. Now, there are times when we can close it sooner than that. Some lenders can close in as little as 10 business days or 2 weeks. In some cases, we can go even tighter than that, but the shorter the close, the more limited you're going to be in options. So if you go with a 2-week close, you are going to be more limited in options. You'll likely end up with a slightly higher rate than what you could get if you were to allow for a longer closing. So you want to make sure you start that process about 30 days in advance if possible. And again, we can do it tighter if needed. If there's any doubt, just reach out to us and we'll let you know a comfortable closing date and what rates can be expected. So you definitely want to make sure you're starting with plenty of time. Things can come up, circumstances can arise, many of them unforeseen. So we want to make sure that there's enough time so we can deal with that without last minute stress to you, because nobody likes last minute stress when they're purchasing a new home, and us included. So if you're anxious because things are getting tight, we're anxious because things are getting tight. We'll always do everything we can for you to get it closed on time with as little stress to you as possible. But as I mentioned, things can arise that are unforeseen that could end up resulting in additional documents being required, or that could cause unnecessary stress for you. So always allow extra time there. Now, if you have a mortgage that's coming up for renewal, mortgage transfers, that is, if we're transferring your mortgage to another lender, because often we can save you thousands by transferring your mortgage to another lender at renewal, because different rate promos come out at different times, and sometimes one lender will have the best rate, and other times another lender will have the best rate. So reach out to us. We'll always let you know what the lowest rate is available to you for your situation at the time of transfer. Now, mortgage transfers can sometimes be done in as little as 21 days, but you're going to want to allow about 30 days to be safe. Some lenders will require 30 days to do it. They won't do it in less. So you want to make sure you're allowing for that 30 days. And that doesn't mean starting the process at 30 days, because that's 30 days from the day we submit it to the lender. We, of course, need to make sure that we have the right documents from you. We have the application in from you and complete. Then we can submit that through to the lender. So you always want to make sure to allow for a little bit extra time. Always good to add more time if possible. If you can start to process a little bit earlier, then even better, to allow for even more time to ensure that everything goes smoothly and we can get your mortgage closed free on time. Now, in the event that you are starting the mortgage transfer in less than 30 days, let's say you have 21 days, which is the minimum. So if you have a mortgage transfer that's in 21 days, we're submitting it to a lender at that time, there's still a chance that it will close late. Now, we'll do everything we can do to hit that date, but if you are starting this process with less than 21 days, then I can guarantee you it's going to close late. Now, closing a mortgage transfer on the exact date is not quite as crucial as closing a purchase. If your purchase closes late, it can be quite expensive. There are consequences to that. So you want to make sure that we do close that on time. Now, in the event that your transfer ends up closing late, not the end of the world. Now, what most mortgage lenders will do is they will automatically put you into an open mortgage if you have not signed that the renewal document and send it back to them. If they have not heard from you, they'll automatically put you into an open mortgage. Sometimes when they send you the rate offers to renew with them, they'll put an open mortgage option on there. You can always check that box and send it back to them. If it looks like this is going to close late, we will inform you on that, and you're going to want to reach out to that lender just in case to make sure that they do put you into an open mortgage. An open mortgage just means there's going to be no penalty to break that. Like I said, most lenders will do that automatically, but some lenders will renew you into a 6 months closed mortgage, which means that there will be a 3 months interest penalty that will be applied even if you're closing a day or two late. So always a good idea to make sure you request from your current lender to put you into an open mortgage just in case. Now, open rates are high, but don't freak out. It's an annual rate and you should only need this for a couple of days, really depending on when you start that process. Obviously, if you're starting the process a week before your renewal date, you're going to be in it probably for a few weeks. But open rates are usually in that 9% range, but again, that's an annual rate. And the additional cost is not that 9%. The additional cost is going to be the difference between the new mortgage rate and the open rate. So let's say, for example, you have an open rate of 9%, and the rate on the new mortgage is 5%. That's a difference of 4%. So that 4% is the additional cost, but again, that's an annual rate. So how you would calculate the additional cost in this case is, let's say your mortgage amount is $300,000. You would calculate 4% of that, so 300,000 times 0.04. That gives you the annual interest divided by 365 will give you the per diem or per day cost. That is the additional cost. So it's generally quite minimal, so that's why I say it's not that big of a deal if this ends up closing late, but we still do want to try to get it closed on time, which we will wherever possible. It's just if you're starting late, we have no other choice other than trying to close it as quickly as we possibly can, and we'll always do that for you. So again, allow about 30 days for transfers. Now, if you have a refinance, let's say you need to take out additional funds, you want to consolidate some debt, borrow a couple $100,000 more, maybe you want to do a major home renovation for whatever reason, maybe you want to extend your amortization back up to 30 years to lower your payment because of these crazy high interest rates. So that would involve a refinance. Now, refinances, much like transfers, it's a very similar process. So again, that 21 to 30 days, usually 30. But if you are in a position where you need to get that additional money as soon as possible, if you need it ASAP, then it could be closed in as little as 2 weeks if you're going through a lawyer, if you're closing through a lawyer. Now, generally a refinance or a transfer would close through a title insurance company such as FCT or FNF, but you also have the option to close through a lawyer when refinancing, which is usually a few $100s more, but if you really need the money quickly, it can be a few $100s well spent if you need to get that money fast. So lastly, there is a straight mortgage renewal. That's if you're renewing with your current lender, and that's the easiest process. It's usually the most expensive, not always, But like I said, we can usually save you thousands by switching you to a different lender. But if you are renewing with your current lender, it's the simplest process in the world. You just sign the form, send it back to them, and you're done. So that can be done right up until closing date, and you could still renew at whatever rate that lender is offering you. So those are the time frames. As I mentioned, we're always, as I mentioned, you want to allow for enough time. We're always going to do everything we can to ensure that you have a great experience with this process. The slogan on my website is a better mortgage experience than you're going to get anywhere else. We do everything we can do to come through with that. It's something we're very serious about, but we need enough time to ensure that you have a great experience. If we're last minute rushing and collecting last minute documents, like I said, it can be stressful for anybody. But we're going to be here for you. We're going to be there for you, and you're never going to have a problem getting a hold of me or any of my staff along the way. We want you to have a great experience, and we're going to do everything we can do to make that happen. So if you do have a renewal coming up within the next 120 days, or if you have a purchase closing within the next 120 days, please reach out to us. There is still upward pressure on fixed rates. We saw a couple of other lenders increase their rates over the last couple of days, and it's possible that we could see more increases to fixed rates coming soon. Now, it's not a guarantee that that's going to happen, but the upward pressure does remain, so it's possible. So we definitely do want to get a rate locked in for you. Now, if that rate drops between now and your closing date, we will ensure that you get that lower rate. We're always monitoring the rates for you. We're very serious about getting the absolute lowest rate on the market for our clients. So reach out to us anytime, and we'll let you know exactly what rate that you will qualify for, the lowest rate that you will qualify for your specific situation. You can reach out to us at pmteam@citycan.com. You can post a comment here or send us a message through Instagram. You can check out our website at easy123mortgage.ca. Now, I do these Instagram live videos every Thursday at 12 noon, and the topic is always going to be on the blog from the day before, because I write a blog every Wednesday, which you can find at easy123mortgage.ca/blog. So please check that out. Send us any comments, send us any questions, and we're happy to answer them for you, and hope to see everybody here again next week at the same time. Have a great day, everybody.